Welcome to video number 4 in our curriculum series. Welcome to the Semifinals CodeLaunch Founder. We're going to cover what it means to be welcomed and invited to become a semifinalist and what you have to do to actually become a semifinalist. So the first thing is, once we have revealed that you are a semifinalist, you really aren't until you do the contract. That's what makes you a semifinalist. We talked about this in the video series before this one. It's necessary at this point because you are committing to us the rest of the way, in case you end up as a finalist, that you are going to meet the obligations that we need you to meet to have a great event, to fulfill our promises to all the attendees, the investors, the sponsors, and our partners and our parent company, Improving. So at this point, if we're going to continue to give you time and resources, we need to know that if you end up as a finalist, you are golden. You are committed to everything necessary. So you can dismount here, no harm, no foul, if you find that suddenly the cost of potentially traveling to the finalist event and taking part in the hackathon is not sustainable for you. You can just send a polite email, just a quick one. Just, hey, sorry, so glad to be a semifinalist. Got to bow out here, whatever the reason. It's okay. Come back to the next one. We hope you succeed. Sometimes people bow out here because they have raised so much money by putting these videos out that they feel like they just don't have the time. They're ready to launch their product, or something good happens to their venture that maybe, the need to be a CodeLaunch finalist and the potential outcome from it is just not necessary anymore. We are not going to be mad if you bow out at this point. What we don't want you to do is sign this contract and then bow out later. That has never happened, and we don't want it to ever happen. So the contract lets you choose your first, second, and third preferred pitch meeting date and time. We note the order in which the contracts are e-signed back to us. So filling this out as fast as you can will help you get the day and time that you prefer. The very last groups that fill out the agreement, maybe a day and a half after they've been sent it, sometimes their first, second, and third has already been filled by someone else, and we're going to have to put them close. Sometimes everybody gets one of their first, second, and third. It's pretty random. We're going to try to put you where we think that you are going to be able to make the meeting. The pitch meetings are virtual. We use Microsoft Teams. Here's the biggest thing that goes wrong in pitch meetings. Number one thing that goes wrong in pitch meetings: people aren't familiar with Teams. They haven't tested their mic and camera with Teams, and they get on the 30-minute pitch meeting and they spend 5 to 10 minutes messing around with microphones and cameras. Don't be that person. Don't be that person. 30 minutes is not long. We have a lot to evaluate about you, and you have a pitch to give. And so test out Teams, practice it with your teammates or someone else that has Teams. We don't have any choice. We use Teams because it's provided to us by Improving. It's part of the fabric of tools that we all use here at CodeLaunch and Improving every day. Teams is what we have. Teams is what we're going to use. Make sure your mic and your camera works good at Teams, and you are ready to be great on this meeting using Teams. The meeting consists of about a 5-minute window when we are going to ask you to introduce yourselves to us. You and everybody else that's on the meeting with you. Could be your whole team, partial team, could be just one of your teammates, could be just one person. But we want to know about you besides what we already know. We already know the things you've told us in the application, but we don't know, for example, that you already ran a pizza restaurant for 5 years and sold it to a pizza restaurant investor. We don't know that you are a scratch golfer We don't know that you have 3 MBAs from I don't know, whatever it is. There's going to be interesting things about you that we kind of need to know a bigger picture, and it's more about you. So we're going to spend about 5 minutes on that, and then we're going to ask you to do your pitch. Now, at this point, we've asked you to upload your pitch deck, and we didn't ask you to customize it in any way. Just give us the pitch deck you're already using. But this pitch deck is going to be a show-ready pitch deck. That means it's going to be 8 slides. 8 slides. We realize you're going to have to take some content out of your deck to get. Almost nobody already has an 8 slides. Almost everybody is at 12 to 20. So you're going to have to cut some things out, and that's fine. If a large gap is left, we're probably going to think about it and ask you during the Q&A. You're still going to get to cover it. But we want your 8 slides, and we want your pitch delivery to be 4 minutes, because that's what's required on our stage. And on our stage, we are going to have a timer, and we're going to let you and the audience know if you go over your time limit, because it's unfair to the other competitors. So you need to practice delivering your 8-slide, 4-minute pitch, so that when we say, okay, we love your pizza restaurant entrepreneurship history. Now let's learn about your tech startup and give us the pitch. Honestly, it shouldn't go more than 4 minutes and 30 seconds, even the semifinalist pitch meeting. And we are going to use a timer, and we're going to let you know you're on the clock. Don't let it make you nervous, because you've already practiced. You know you're going to be around 4 minutes. But at some point, the buzzer's going to go off, and we're going to stop your pitch, because we need the rest of the time to do Q&A and to give you feedback. So we're going to give sometimes constructive feedback here. And, we don't want you to get your feelings hurt. You can take any of the feedback we give and implement it. You can also toss it in the river and ignore it forever. We just feel like it's necessary to share some experiences we have that we think could help you. And so we may do that. We may not even give you any feedback, because we're just enthralled by your pitch, and we can tell that you're so darn good at it. We may just ask you questions, and we're probably going to get into topics that you've cut out of your pitch deck and that you may have been able to cover if we've given you 25 minutes, but that's not what the pitch meeting is for. This pitch meeting really is a rehearsal. It's a rehearsal for what we're going to see on stage. So it's not just a standard potential investor pitch meeting. This is a rehearsal to be a CodeLaunch finalist. Think of it that way. So you're on stage. These are your 8 slides. What are you going to say that causes this audience to vote for you live at the CodeLaunch event and for you to win? After all the pitch meetings, we are going to choose a pool of you, and they will become draft eligible. It will be a few more than we actually have teams to draft who will be drafting. And the reason is because the last team that picks, well, first of all, we let the teams pick because the teams are competing for serious cash. They want to code your product. They want you to go on stage and win. And then we are going to hand them actual just prize money. Here's prize money, thousands of dollars. And they want to come to the event and see their brand represented awesome by you. And you win then the status as best CodeLaunch professional coder league hackathon team at your event. And then they want you to win so they can come to the world championship. They have to have some say, some choice in it. And they're going to choose a startup that looks like they have a skill set match too. So the worst situation would be we pick the exact number, we put them in the draft. The team that picked last gets stuck with the one that didn't get picked by everybody else. And this team has no idea about any of the technology and the to-do list that this team is bringing into the hackathon. We don't want that to happen. So that's why we add more. And what that means, there's going to be some of you who get this far, get into the draft, and don't get picked, that's a dramatic, kind of a crushing blow if it's you. The first thing I'm going to tell you is we invite, starting with these groups are the first people that are invited to come and have an exhibit table at the CodeLaunch event you were competing to be in. And you can interact with the crowd, give your pitch to lots of people, network and develop your skills at pitching fast and on your feet at a live event. These are great skills to have. It will not cost you anything except for to get yourself into the arena, whatever that means to you. If it's walk next door because you live next to the arena, or if it's fly across the country for 6 hours. You will be invited and it's not going to cost you anything. And that's kind of a consolation. We have had groups repeatedly do that and end up on the draft room floor as undrafted. I may have mentioned Endora in a previous video. They are probably, there's a few of these, but they're probably the top. I think that they were in 3 different competitions where they were in the draft and end up getting left out of the pool that was drafted. And we had to call them like the second time. We had to call them the third time. I'm so sorry you did not get drafted again. They came as free exhibitors to every single one. Sometimes they would say, hey, we're still going to come down to Houston and be in the event, even though we live almost in Oklahoma. And do you need someone to interview people in the crowd and capture B-roll and capture stories of people that are excited to be at CodeLaunch? Yes. So they actually became kind of like a part of our family and supported CodeLaunch in its earlier days. And they must have built up some awesome CodeLaunch karma because eventually they made it into a draft, got drafted, went to an event, made it to the World Championship, and then won $25,000 at the World Championship they were in. So a story of persistence. Persistence pays off at CodeLaunch. Once we have the draft eligible list, we are going to ask that group to do a couple of extra steps. Those steps help us prepare the content that our draft partners see. So that's when they get to look at your pitch deck and they get to look at your stack and they get to look at your UI UX and learn about how much product are you bringing into the hackathon, or are you just bringing mock-ups and we have to build the first iteration of product from scratch? It could be any of those. And they have to have time to make their draft plan. So they will get together, look at all these, and they'll be like, we like this one. And if that one's gone, we're going to get this one. Or if that one's gone, we're going to get this one. And that way we have the draft and they just kind of follow their plan. Like I said, they are competing for money, status in their market, in their brand, publicity, visibility at the event, and they want you to succeed. You are the jockey and they are going to try to build the horse. So they're the trainer and they're going to be watching in the stands, hoping you win the race. Now, the draft happens live, but it's private and it doesn't include any founders. It's with the team captains of the CodeLaunch professional Coder League teams that are competing at your event. The team captains make the choice, and we record this experience as a podcast episode. Go into our podcast, CodeLaunch, We Code, You Launch podcast. You will see in our history draft episodes. You can go listen to those and you'll understand this process better than I'm trying to describe. Those that are drafted, we will turn around, we will make a live stream video announcing who they were and that they are finalists. And we will produce an event that you can attend if you're close to it to reveal who the finalists are. It's a lot of fun. You should be there if it's possible and convenient and practical for you to be there. It's a pretty fun moment to find out you're a finalist, and it's a high energy, positivity energy that you will want to be part of your code launch experience. And frankly, I want to see your face light up when you become a finalist too. And me or someone from the Code Launch team will be there at that event to support you and congratulate you. And then you're probably going to have more questions, even though you're going to watch all these videos. And I'll be there to help get that done. Plus, we'll toss back a cold adult beverage together. That's it for semifinalists. The next video is the finalists video.